One. Hi everyone, Lisa and Dan here from Fireside Strategic. We're on a mission to help business leaders achieve great results through human-centered strategy. We believe that businesses don't need to choose between investing in their humans and generating profit because it's the humans that create profit. In the Fireside Chat series, we're showcasing how leaders are transcending the challenges of the coronavirus crisis and more broadly unite strategic and human thinking and leadership. Today, we're excited to chat with Ed Guttenplan, the co-founder and managing shareholder of Wilkin Guttenplan. Ed,
Hello.
thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, you did a little bit of it, but I've been in accounting about 40 years. The firm that I'm with now started 36 years ago with my co-founder. And for the reason of creating a workspace where employees enjoyed their work, enjoyed who they worked with, and had a chance to grow at the same time. And he and I had that vision when we started, and that vision, and both of us are still there, but now surrounded by 20 other partners and probably 110 people. So that's it. We're an accounting firm that we're CPAs, but we're advisors, and we look to help our clients however we can. We know the trends in accounting, and we know that we need to be by their side to help them through their problems. And we find most of the companies we deal with are smaller entrepreneurs that are usually really great at what they've created, done, what business they're in, but they aren't always financially savvy or tax savvy. So we work together to fill out their team.
Makes perfect sense and vitally important work.
Mm-hmm.
When you were describing the genesis of the company, I picked up on the importance of people for you. Right. Can you tell us a little bit more about how in the sort of formation of your company, people mattered from the very beginning?
I don't know. It's one of those innate things where you realize you could do it yourself, or you can build a team that will help you do it. And the most successful team you can build is one with great people. So how do you get great people and attract great people? You create an environment where those kind of people can thrive and where they feel fulfilled. So that's kind of the basis for it. And I know others have said it, but if you have great people, everything else will follow. And that's what we do. We train, develop our folks so they become all that they can. We help them become the best version of themselves they can become.
One of the things that we have learned about your company is it's rated one of the best places for millennials to work. I wonder how you navigate the fact that it's a workplace with such a variety of ages and a variety of people.
Well, we start off with nobody has a label in our organization, and we're focused on working with each other effectively. And we talk a lot about some of the younger people in the firm are more adept at technology. Some of us older folks have not. We were doing accounting on green paper with 8 columns and maybe had a calculator if we were lucky. We could afford it at the time. And now we have some of our young folks doing the most amazing Excel spreadsheets and applications for us that you can imagine. But what we have taught everybody is I can't force the young folks to do things my way. And they need to understand I'm not where they are, and we both work together to meet somewhere in the middle. And it just creates a wonderful environment. I have partners telling me, can someone help me do this? Or can someone show me how to use Teams? Or all those kinds of things. We teach each other, and we don't have barriers of age. We just all try to work together to each other's strengths.
I think that's fantastic. One of the things that you noticed in my intro is that here we believe that there isn't a trade-off between investing in humans and generating profit. And it seems like that's core to your belief as well. Would you mind elaborating a little bit more on why you made this decision to invest so much in your people?
Well, for us, strategy doesn't necessarily mean the biggest bottom line or the biggest top line. What strategy means to us is where do the owners want the business, where do we want it to go, what do we want it to look like, and how do we get there from the business perspective as best we can. And we've never wanted to focus on just the top line number. We wanted to focus on an organization. Probably the key to our organization is that it's built around the continuity. The continuity focus, meaning we are building an organization where the young folks see a pathway to becoming the next partners, and we help them get there, and the older partners will know that they're going to move on, and they're going to help the younger folks continue to build the organization and do everything they can to clear the obstacles from how they get there. So if we're going to build a sustainable organization with continuity, we obviously want to have the best people we can working in our organization, because that makes servicing clients the best it could be, which as an accounting firm, the mission is to serve our clients and help our business clients fulfill their wishes and dreams. But by offering the best people to help them do that, we're doing the best we can for our mission. So it's always been about keeping the best people, attracting the best people. We spend a lot of time on recruiting and working with each person individually on their own pathway, all the way to partner and shareholder.
It sounds like a beautiful journey for someone to go through, and a great recipe for encouraging people to stay for the very long term. Right. Curious, we talk about continuity and the importance of continuity. Can you talk about that in the context of COVID-19, this very tricky situation that's compelling so many businesses to change how they function? Can you tell us about how continuity has been important for you in that context?
That's a good question. I'll go back a little bit, which is we have always been, not always been, a long while ago, we became an anywhere, anytime workplace. So people could work at home. Our organization was electronically built so that people could work at home. We have working moms. Some of them work 4 days a week at home. We've always had working moms. We want to be able to attract anyone and enable everyone to work in a way that is most effective for them. As long as the client gets their services delivered, it's okay to work at Starbucks, as long as the client's taken care of. And we reiterate that to them, and that they communicate with their team. So when COVID-19 came, it was a seamless, you could snap your fingers and we were all remote doing the same thing we were doing before. Every aspect of the firm became remote. All of our service delivery was remote. The only thing that we have to do is periodically get the old-fashioned mail and open it. But everything else is going electronic to clients. We're having Zoom meetings with clients. So, it tells the staff that, and this is sort of forced on us from COVID, that everybody's doing it, that we're going to adapt and change as times change, and we'll build an organization that can adapt as we face whatever new challenge comes along. And we talk to our staff about that, quite a bit. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think we're nimble. And the one thing when we have these surveys about what do you like about the firm, and I could talk to you a lot about this aspect, is the young people say they're very willing to change. meaning it's not the old people who say, well, we tried it that way, it won't work. I would love for someone that takes something that I couldn't do, a younger person, and say, here, go, try to figure it out. So we have our young folks always doing those kinds of things. Our young folks are involved in every aspect of our firm. And when I say young, it's sort of that sliding scale. I don't mean just the first few. It's everybody below me is young, I'll put it that way. But you know, as an example, I'll just give you one example. We have something called the Future Council. So the Future Council is made up of 8 to 10 people in the lower demographic of the firm in terms of age. And I'm in the meeting, but I don't run it. One of our senior accountants run it. And the sole purpose of that meeting is to say to them, this is going to be your firm in 10 years. How do you see it? What do you see as a role model partner in a firm? Because I don't want them looking at me and saying, I see how he does it, I see how much he works. I don't want to do that. So this is the way we capture what's in their head about how they want to work, when they want to work, all those kinds of things. And we've told them, if we have partners that work a lot of hours, you don't have to work a lot of hours. Maybe there's 3 of you that replace 2 of us, but you're all going to decide how many hours you work and how you're going to run the firm. We just want to help you build a pathway there so that in 10 years you don't all of a sudden have to change everything. We want to have a transformation as we go that enables you to see a pathway for you at the top in a way that you want to stay here and be here.
I think that's wonderful. It's interesting how the fact that constant change and evolution and nimbleness is such a core part to your identity is the very thing that allowed you to retain some of that consistency. Even after this COVID pandemic hit. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, we also have an innovation council made up of about 8 or 10 of our more tech savvy folks. And they are continually coming up with ideas and pushing the envelope on what could we do, what can we automate, how can we provide better service to our clients through automation. So some great things come out of that too, and they know that we're behind it. And you know, they're spending lots of time and we're not billing for that time. But they see us making an investment in looking forward as to how the firm can continue into the future. For some of those folks on that council, it's really exciting because they're running it. It's not a partner who's running it. They're running it. We have a manager that kind of coordinates it, but they're free to come up with great ideas, and they have. So it's hard to say how that addresses the COVID issue. One small part, the Innovation Council is coming up with worksheets for figuring out the forgiveness under the COVID PPP program. Just waiting for the regulations to come out. But when they do, we're going to have worksheets and Excel spreadsheets to work with our clients to figure that out. We all have helped our clients. The first thing we do is call them and say, yeah, I've called a couple that didn't even know that there was a PPP program. And after I told them about it, they applied and I helped them apply. We reached out to all of them to see if they needed help and make them aware of what it is and what it involves. And culturally, everybody was eager to do that. They're eager to go talk to their clients and help them be successful.
Are there any other changes that you've had to make to your offering to address the changes that your clients are going through? I'm sure that a lot of your clients have gone through, dramatic shifts because of this. And how have you had to adjust accordingly?
To be honest, we don't know yet all the ways that we have to adjust. But we'll figure that out as we go. We have, for example, dental clients who aren't seeing patients, and we have people in the food service business who serve restaurants. they're all struggling. They're gonna need help to figure out what the next steps are. None of us really know how it's going to play out, but we're going to be there to be as nimble and adaptive as we can to help them try to figure it out.
Fantastic, and I'm sure they certainly appreciate that kind of nimbleness from their tax advisors. And now that we're starting, Ed, to come towards the end of our time together, we just have a few more questions.
Sure.
To wrap things up. Difficult moment for so many people, but important for us still to find ways to have fun. And so I'm curious, what is Ed Guttenplan doing for fun these days?
You mean fun in my house or fun with the office?
But fun at home. What's fun for you?
Well, for me, I have 2 children who live in New York. They all came to live with us as soon as this started. So my son and his wife and my daughter came, and my son and my daughter-in-law, and they have I have grandchildren. So when I'm not doing work, I'm playing with the grandchildren and hanging out with the family and so on. That's about the extent of it. We have lots of fun things we're doing in the office too. We have virtual happy hours and all kinds of fun things like that. We have groups of staff who have lunch together every Friday virtually. Our tax group does that. And they're trying to connect as much as possible. We do have a sort of a rule that if any meetings in the office, virtual meetings, have to be they have to be video. They can't be just a black name. We want everybody to see everybody's faces and stay connected. So you roll all that into it, and we're all doing the best we can, hoping that we all get through this as quickly as possible.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a wonderful job, and it's fantastic that your adult kids and your grandkids are able to have this huge reunion at your home. It sounds beautiful.
Yeah,
Well,
it is nice.
Ed, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I think that your leadership style and priorities and the culture you're building is very inspiring and very important for all business leaders to learn from. Thank you so much.
Thank you.